Hey, happy Friday, everyone. Okay, this video was not easy for me to do, and I think you'll see why. Make sure you watch to the very end as I present a challenge to this flat earther at the end, and I also give an update on Austin Whitsitt. Now, if you haven't seen our video called Did This Flat Earther Solve the 24-Hour Sun in Antarctica, you may want to watch that first, as this video is essentially a part 2 to that video. To catch everyone up, a flat earther named Joe Hanvey put out a video with an acrylic dome over a Gleason map, and using his flashlight to imitate the movement of the sun, claimed to have solved for how a 24-hour sun in Antarctica would work on a flat Earth. I've said this before, and I'll say it again, and we'll keep saying it in the future as well. It does not make a lot of sense to me to do this if you do not believe there is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Case in point, I know of no globers who are trying to come up with a way for a setting sun at 80 degrees south in Antarctica this December. I know of no globers who are experimenting with models to try and show how a sun can actually set when they've said all along that there is a 24-hour sun. I could be wrong here, and please someone correct me if I am, but the only reason I can come up with to even do what Joe Hanvey is doing is if you are concerned that there actually is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, and you are worried that we are going to experience this 24-hour sun this December. And if I'm right about this, that might explain the rush to try and rescue the flat Earth model in this way. Something to keep in mind is to really examine yourself. And I think we should all do this in our lives. Examine ourselves and see if we actually want to know the truth, or if we would rather continue believing what we believe in and therefore avoid anything that seems to contradict our beliefs. Okay, we left off with Joe Hanvey putting forth a new model with a 24-hour sun, but this one still did not work as the reflected sun off the dome was moving in the wrong direction, meaning the opposite of what the globe model predicts. I want to make sure everyone understands this, so here are a couple videos showing the 24-hour sun in the north, in the Arctic, and the 24-hour sun in the south, in Antarctica, so you can see the difference. First, the north. This video was taken in Alaska inside the Arctic Circle. I want you to notice two very important things. First, the sun is moving from left to right. And second, the sun is never that far above the horizon. It's right above the horizon the entire time. Now let's look at a video of the 24-hour sun in Antarctica. This video is showing what the sun does at the South Pole inside the Antarctic Circle. And you can immediately see that the sun is moving in the opposite direction in the sky, this time from right to left. And as before, the sun stays just above the horizon and is never high in the sky. This is very important, as I will explain toward the end of the video. So the first thing that needs to be established and understood by both sides of this debate is that in the globe model, the sun moves across the sky in the opposite direction in the north versus the south. This brings us to our first problem. On the flat Earth model, the sun moves clockwise over the Earth, as you can see in this video. Now, referring to the sun's movement as clockwise or counterclockwise is extremely problematic, not only for the flat Earth model, but especially on the globe model, which has the Earth orbiting the sun. The reason it's problematic is because a clockwise motion can actually appear counterclockwise from a different perspective. Let's look at this video again. The clockwise motion you see is from a perspective of above the sun. But if you were on the flat Earth here, underneath the sun, and standing on the North Pole in the center and look up, what direction would the sun be moving? That's right, counterclockwise. If that doesn't make sense to you, try this. Rotate your finger over your hand in a clockwise motion. Now, keep moving it in the same direction, but bring it over your head. Now, what way is it spinning? Counterclockwise. So using the terms clockwise and counterclockwise is not the best terminology when talking about the sun. But let's continue. After I released my last video showing Joe that his model did not line up with the globe model, he decided to double down and came up with a new model, or two, or three, a bunch. Here was his next attempt.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set up 3 cameras. The one in my hand is gonna go inside the dome. These other 2 are staying outside because I can't get all 3 in there without knocking them over and all that. But I can zoom them in to the apex of their respective southern sky.
Now, this is quite the setup, as you can see. Not only a dome on top of a Gleason's map, but 4 cameras. By the way, I'm not sure many flat earthers or maybe even globers know this, but the Gleason's map has some writing in the lower right corner of it. And if you think I'm making this up, go grab your Gleason's map right now. Here is what it says in the lower right corner. On December 21st, the sun moves round the Tropic of Capricorn, and during the day lights up the southern portion of the Earth from the Arctic Circle to some portion of Antarctic ice. And here's the important line. There is no sunlight beyond 80 degrees south, but unknown regions of ice. I repeat, there is no sunlight beyond 80 degrees south. The Gleason map takes a much harder stance than most flat earthers do and says there will be no sunlight beyond 80 degrees south. We will be right at 80 degrees south at Union Glacier, which is at 79 degrees 46 minutes south. So according to the Gleason's map, we should have very little to no sun at all. Just so people know how this all transpired. As soon as Joe Hanvey would post a video like this one, I would start to hear from people. Emails, Will, Joe Hanvey just released a new video about the 24-hour sun. Facebook Messenger, Will, did you see Joe Hanvey's new video? And so I would go check it out, watch it, see the problems, and before commenting, I would read the other comments first to see if anyone else had already pointed out the problems to him. I am a nice guy, contrary to these flat earthers calling me a demon and Satan. And so if someone else already pointed it out to him, I wouldn't need to pile on. And sadly, the comments were usually flat earthers thanking him for doing this and figuring this out and solving the problem, which ends the final experiment. And so I would comment and let him know nicely that, hey, this is still not representative of the globe model. So let me walk through the issues here because there are more than one. First, this circling sun is just a reflection on the dome. The globe model does not say that we will look south and see a sun doing circles in the sky in front of us while the real sun is doing its thing behind us. So this fails right off the bat as it creates 2 suns, a real sun that rises in the east and sets in the west, and then a reflected sun behind us doing these circle patterns in the sky for 24 hours. I really hope Joe understands the globe model and didn't think when we say a circling 24-hour sun that we meant this. Not at all.
All right, so hopefully you're gonna get 3 counterclockwise suns all at once. If this doesn't debunk it, and give you the evidence you need to show that this counterclockwise 24-hour sun is possible in Antarctica, then I don't know what is. But what I'm showing is proof of concept. There's proof of concept that this works, period. End of story. It's time to put this to bed.
The next problem is that when he has the sun on the opposite side of the flat Earth from where we will be, south of South America, so the sun would be over Australia at this point, the sun that's reflecting off the dome is moving from left to right, as you can see here. And as we already covered on the globe model, the sun moves across the sky from right to left in Antarctica.
And you see it there. 3 cameras simultaneously picking up a 24-hour sun on the flat earth model. You can't keep arguing that it didn't work, that it's not working. It absolutely works. If I had a 4th camera, we'd get all 4 of them to show it. So it is viable in the flat earth model. The final experiment is dead as a falsifier against the flat earth for the 24-hour sun.
Now, when people pointed out to Joe that the sun was moving in the wrong direction still, he released another video explaining this one. Here it is.
So if that green piece of tape represents the center of the clock face in the southern sky dome, I'm moving the light east to west around Capricorn. The green piece of tape represents the center point of the sky in Antarctica. That is a counterclockwise motion going around that green piece of tape. It's simple.
As you can see, below the red line, the sun is still moving from left to right, which is the wrong direction. People pointed out that it was still wrong, and Joe released another video explaining these two. Here it is. I honestly can't say this video makes any sense to me, and I was not alone. More people told him that it did not make sense, so he released yet another video to explain these 3, and here is that one. Now, this one is actually helpful because when the flashlight is nearest the viewer, it creates a reflection on the opposite side of the dome. You can see that the reflected sun is moving between the E and W, east and west, from left to right, meaning the sun is still moving in the wrong direction. So this is not anywhere near a final experiment killer, as Joe said, and thankfully he saw that based on feedback from me and others, and he removed both of these videos. Then I hear from someone again the next day saying Joe has a new video out, and he mentions me by name. Okay, when I go look at this one, it's titled, "This is the Death Blow to TFE." Oh boy, let's check this one out. Here it is.
Okay, I'm doing this again just for Jaron and Will Duffy because I get it, y'all don't get it. I didn't get it either. I had it wrong several times because there is a lot going on here and it's complicated to understand. Especially if you're not doing it. If you're just sitting behind a screen watching it, there's no way for you to figure this out. It's taken me days of repeating this and repeating this and repeating this and repeating this and screwing up and putting those screw ups out there, unfortunately. That's the bad part. I regret that. But now I've got it right and I'm gonna show you why. Okay, so if you wanna argue that my camera position is in the north, okay, I agree the camera position right now is north of the magnets over there, which are placed where you guys are gonna be doing this observation. You're seeing it due south, but the source itself is over here on the other side of the room. Now, when I move it east to west around Capricorn, you're gonna see that it goes behind the viewer counterclockwise. It disappears behind the viewer counterclockwise.
You'll notice in this video again, the reflected sun is moving from left to right, which is wrong. On the globe model, when we are in Antarctica and we face south, the sun will be moving through the sky from right to left.
I don't know how to make this any more clear, but I get it. If you're not doing it yourself, if you don't have the dome yourself and doing it yourself, repeatedly trying to understand it and break it down, you're not gonna get it. There's a lot going on, and it took me, I think, 4 or 5 days to get to this point. But it's working perfectly. You can no longer say it's not. And I can put a camera in I could do a cross pattern, a camera in all 4 corners, facing their respective southern sky, and get all 4 to witness it at once. The celestial dome is the answer. This is a complete falsifier for the final experiment, being a falsifier for flat Earth.
Now, within a few hours, this video was removed by Joe and replaced with a new video titled, Now it's 100% correct. Here we go.
Okay, I'm gonna do this one more time. This time I have placed the cardinal directions directly in front of you guys. So you're facing south, you're the magnets, you're in Antarctica, below the tip of South America. The cardinal directions are taped onto the dome in the southern sky. The cardinal directions are correct. It's gonna move east to west around the Tropic of Capricorn. Now you're gonna see that this works. You're facing south, the magnets represent where y'all will be, and when I move this around the Tropic of Capricorn, you're gonna see that counterclockwise motion. So, close that off. Here we go. I'm gonna start on the opposite side of the room. All right, now I'm going east to west. East to west. Going east to west.
As you can see, the reflection on the dome to the south of where we will be in Antarctica is still moving from left to right, which is the wrong direction. Let me tell you why Joe thought this was a solution. He's moving his flashlight clockwise. He's standing above the plastic dome, moving his flashlight in a clockwise direction, which is how it must be on the flat Earth model. And then when he sticks his cell phone in the dome to record the reflection on the other side, he sees a counterclockwise motion and thinks he's solved it. As I mentioned in the beginning, this is the same motion. Remember the finger thing? That's what's going on here. He's above the flashlight, moving it clockwise, and his cell phone is below the light, making it appear counterclockwise, but it's the same direction. This is the power of the final experiment. In the globe model, the sun is actually visually moving through the sky in the opposite direction. Now, here's the important part, from the same perspective. Let me spell this out because it's crucial to understand. On the globe model, if you are standing on the Earth in the Arctic Circle in the north, the sun will move in a circle around you from left to right and never set. And if you are standing on the Earth in the Antarctic Circle in the south, the sun will move in a circle around you from right to left and never set. Opposite directions from the same exact vantage point, standing on the Earth. Joe is getting a different motion because he's looking down at his flashlight while his phone camera is looking up at the flashlight. Those are actually the same motion, just different perspectives. The globe model is a different motion in the sky visually from the same vantage point. Believe it or not, despite Joe's confidence, which I love and can relate to, just a few hours later, this video was deleted and he posted yet another video. Check it out.
Now I had the cardinal directions wrong on every other demonstration, if I'm not mistaken. I've had the cardinal directions wrong. And you know, I apologize for that, but I'm trying to learn, and putting it out there has actually helped me figure this out, because the critiques and the people saying, hey, it's not working, have helped me to figure it out. This is correct. This is absolutely correct. This is what you would see, and this is what you're gonna see, because the celestial dome is the answer to everything. It's figured out. It debunks the 24-hour counterclockwise Antarctic sun as being a falsifier for flat Earth. The celestial dome causes it, and it is a reflection. It is absolutely a reflection. Now, would you possibly still see sunspots in that reflection? Maybe. I doubt it. I from the footage I've watched, I believe it's a reflection. So we'll see. Go do the experiment, we'll find out, or the observation, and we'll find out. Now that I've got the cardinal directions in there correctly, it's easy to see, it's working perfectly. So this should clear it up. The so-called final experiment, which is just an observation, is not going to falsify flat Earth. If anything, it'll confirm it. So good luck. Have fun.
The next day, Joe released a clarification video without any audio. And as you can see, the reflected sun is still moving in the wrong direction from left to right. This clarification video was still confusing to people, so Joe released another clarification video the same day.
Clarify the cardinal directions, because I understand this is extremely difficult to understand. This is the toughest aspect of perspective that I have encountered with this model. All the other perspectives are nothing in comparison to this. It's very difficult. It's very hard to understand. Just by watching the videos, heck, just by doing it myself, it was difficult. Extremely difficult to understand. It was like a mind game, mind puzzle, whatever you want to call it. But it's worked out now. This is correct. The sun comes from the east to the west. From the east to the west. From the east to the west. So the cardinal directions are correct. The demonstration works. You can have a 24-hour counterclockwise sun in Antarctica, no matter how far, if you're far enough south, no matter where you're at in Antarctica, within the flat earth model. Is it a reflection? Yes, it's absolutely a reflection in my opinion, but I believe it would be a perfect reflection, because in a sense, we live on a mirror, covered by a mirror. In the flat earth model, the way it lays everything out, the crystalline celestial dome would be a mirror-like surface, a super reflective surface.
So after these 3 videos, the first one and the 2 clarification videos, Joe deleted all 3 of them and uploaded yet another new video.
So the problem was the cardinal directions the whole time. From the very beginning, I knew I had it right because I was moving the source light clockwise, east to west, and east. I'm not even say east to west anymore, because that's the problem. I'm moving the source light east. East is a direction of travel. West is a direction of travel. So if I'm traveling east, I'm always traveling east. And that would be clockwise around the north if I'm traveling east around Capricorn. So the sun traveling east around Capricorn is going clockwise. The reflection from the very beginning was always going opposite to the source. So I knew it was going counterclockwise, because the opposite of clockwise is counterclockwise. So the cardinal directions were the problem the whole time, and you can perfectly see that the cardinal directions are now correct, and that means that it does work, that it is proof of concept, not proof, it is proof of concept for the flat earth assuming a celestial dome. Is proof of concept. So there is no way to falsify the flat earth with a counterclockwise 24-hour sun when you can see it working perfectly. Our problem is we want all of it, me included. That was the problem from the beginning. I had the cardinal directions wrong, because east is a path of travel, west is a path of travel. And this clears it up. 100% clears it up. There's no more debate on it. I'm putting it to bed.
Once again, notice the reflected sun and its motion below the orange crosses. It's moving from left to right. This is the wrong direction. In the globe model, the sun will always be right to left in Antarctica.
Anyway, hope everybody's enjoyed the show up until now, but nobody can say that it doesn't work anymore, that it's not working, that it's not going right. It was going right to start with. It was my fault for not having the cardinal directions in there and having that sound in my mind. But putting it out there and getting the criticisms is what led to this. Never be afraid to fail.
So he called this the final video. I'll give you one guess what happened next. You guessed it. This video was removed and a new one was put up the next day.
Okay, so the problem the whole time is, and after talking to Jaron, I really realized this. So what I decided to do was figure out where the source is and where the reflection is, and then line that up with the cardinal directions. Because from the beginning, I've known that when I'm moving the source clockwise around Capricorn, that the reflections, because I can catch 4 if I put all in, let's say all 4 quarters, not corners, I could catch 4 24-hour counterclockwise suns, because if I'm moving the source clockwise and the reflection is going opposite to the source, then the reflection is going counterclockwise. There's no way around that, period. The fact that I've gotten the cardinal directions wrong by putting them on the ceiling the whole time has nothing to do with the fact that when I move the source clockwise, the reflection goes counterclockwise. So I'm going to prove it.
Again, he's forgetting that it's only counterclockwise because his phone camera is below the light while he is standing above the light.
It's figured out. It works. It's been working the whole time. Like I said, if I'm moving the source clockwise, and the reflection is going opposite to clockwise, there's only one opposite to clockwise, and that's counterclockwise. So the fact that the cardinal directions on the ceiling have not lined up and not made it look right, that's been a problem. But you can plainly see now north, east, south, west, that you are getting that counterclockwise motion. You absolutely are.
And you'll see, once again, the sun is moving from left to right under the green cross, which is the wrong direction.
Also, right here, when I get south, there would be a point of convergence of the real source and the reflection. So the point of convergence, though, happens, it merges instantly and then it splits instantly. And because they're curving away from each other due to the celestial dome, it would be impossible, in my opinion, it would be impossible to see it with your naked eye, and maybe even impossible to catch it with a camera. But yeah, when there would definitely be a merger right about there, and then it was split back immediately. And because the light's bending away in both directions opposite to itself, it would be an instantaneous separation that could not be seen.
Now, this convergence thing is bogus. On the flat Earth model, the sun has to rise and set in Antarctica, while there is a reflection of the sun on the dome the entire time, which means you would see 2 suns. Keep in mind that in the flat Earth model, the actual sun moves around the Tropic of Capricorn. So as the sun is setting, it's actually moving further away from you, while in the globe model, the sun would need to not move away from you, but go all around you. So there can be no convergence point on a flat Earth where the setting sun turns into the reflection, because the dome is south of where we will be in Antarctica. And the actual sun will be setting to our northwest. The sun can't go from real in front of you to a reflection on a dome behind you in any seamless way whatsoever. Now, what happened next was literally shocking. I got an email from someone and they said, Will, you are not going to believe this. Joe deleted his last video, put up a new one, and now he has the flashlight inside the dome. I had to see this one myself to believe it.
Well, we just proved that the 24-hour sun, counterclockwise sun, is possible. All I have to do is get the light inside. Get the light inside, and guess what? You get it. Now, obviously, I'm trying to look at the camera, stretch my arm, and follow it, so it's not perfect, but you can plainly see that it does work. So the projected focal point that is the sun is inside the dome. And I know this is working in all 4 quarters now. It's doing it all 4 quarters, so you would catch it simultaneously. This is the answer. The sun is a projected focal point inside that is coming from a source inside the dome. And it says in the scriptures that he placed them inside. Inside. It works, folks. Flat Earth for the win.
I'm stunned. I guess all those other videos, which were 100% correct and final and a death blow to TFV, were all wrong. So now the sun is inside the firmament and this apparently solves the problem, or does it? Well, this model creates at least 4 suns, if not more. If I pause it, you can see a bunch of them. When I watch this video in slow motion, you see a ton of suns all over the place. I don't think that's what Joe wants to argue. And seeing as he deleted this video very quickly and uploaded yet another one the next day, I think he would agree. Let's do this again.
Now, right now, you can see very clearly that the way it's folded the light upwards, you're getting the perspective as if you were standing facing south in the center of this red cross. Now watch. You're gonna see that apparent counterclockwise travel because the light of the 4 quarters is being bent upwards, which reverses to the viewer in that area the apparent path of travel of the sun itself. And I believe it's most likely a perfect reflection due to the reflectivity of being inside of this system. But you can clearly see it's giving you the position of being standing on the ground facing south, and you see that counterclockwise travel.
So now the sun is back outside the dome, and as you will see, the sun is still moving from left to right, which is the wrong direction.
That's my final opinion on it. It's taken me a long time to get to this point. A lot of doing this over and over and over and seeing how I was getting it wrong in every other way. But this is my final theory on what is occurring. That it is an optical illusion of apparent path of travel due to the light of the realm being folded upwards in the 4 corners.
He is calling this an optical illusion, which means he does not think we will be able to tell the difference between the real sun in Antarctica and the optical illusion sun. Well, they use solar panels at Union Glacier for power, and they run 24/7 during their season. So does an optical illusion power solar panels? So is this Joe's final video on the topic? And the answer is no. He deleted this final video just a few hours after he put it up and replaced it with this one.
So if you're looking south, you're looking up, and then you bend over and stick your head between your head and look back, you're looking north. So the cardinal directions are correct. That's all it is. It's if you're standing south and you're looking up, you're looking south. If you're looking out, you're looking back north. Now, on the flat plains, the same thing. When you're all the way south, looking up to the sky would be south. Looking down and back would be north. So it does work. That's the key to the puzzle. That's the key to the puzzle. The light is still being bent upwards, and you can see that right here. So it shows you what I'm talking about. Down and back is north, and up is south. So that's how it works. See, when it's low on your horizon, It's in the north. Well, it's on the opposite side of the room from you, which would be north. When it's high at your apex, it's south because you're looking up.
I must admit, I don't understand the up is south thing and how if you are looking up, you are looking south.
That's simple as that. That's how it works. That's how it works. It took me forever to figure that out. So that's why they're able to convince us we live on a ball, because when you get to the south, the cardinal directions flip. North would be down and back, south would be up, east and west stay the same. So it's always a clockwise travel. It's just an apparent counterclockwise travel due to the flipping of the cardinal directions.
This is the moment in Joe's model which represents two suns that would clearly be seen by us in Antarctica. He has the sun, the actual sun at solar noon. As you can see, the flashlight, which represents the actual sun, is directly above South America over the Tropic of Capricorn. So that's the actual sun that we would see when facing north, looking towards South America. But then there is also a reflected sun behind us to the south, which he just mentioned. So we would see the actual sun to the north, then we would turn around and see a reflected sun on the dome behind us to the south. I don't think Joe wants to argue this, as thousands of people visit Antarctica each year, and this has never been seen. Well, we are almost to the end. Joe removed this video shortly after releasing it and put out one final video. Truly final this time.
Well, here's the problem. And it all has to do with the cardinal directions. In both models, there is no counterclockwise. So if you're in the south and you're inside the circle of the sun on the globe, talking about the globe right now, if you're inside the circle of the sun on the globe, you are no longer looking at anything that's counterclockwise. It's going west. The sun is going west. Remember, there is no up or down on a globe. So there can't be counterclockwise. There's only clockwise.
So now there is no counterclockwise, and I'm not sure why he's moving the sun around in a circle on his globe model here in the same way that he moves the sun over his flat Earth dome model. That's definitely not how the globe model works. As he moves his flashlight around, the entire bottom hemisphere never receives light.
It works in both models. So it's not a falsifier for either. It's not a proof for either.
You can still see the sun moving the wrong direction from left to right, and thankfully Joe removed even this video as well. So has this flat earther solved the 24-hour sun in Antarctica on a flat Earth? The answer is no. I count a total of 16 attempts, and seeing as Joe has removed all of them, not even one of these videos remains, I think even he sees that his model does not account for a 24-hour sun on a flat Earth. Joe, I really like you. I love how you work so hard on this and that you were able to admit when you got it wrong and needed to try again. But brother to brother, I'm going to give you some friendly advice and a challenge. My advice to you would be to just own your model. Just own it. Instead of trying to rescue the flat Earth model in case there is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica, I would just own the flat Earth model, which has said for 10 years now that there isn't a 24-hour sun in the South, and that a 24-hour sun in the South can't work on a flat Earth. I think the flat Earth side needs someone right now, other than Jaron, to take a stand for what everyone has been saying for years. And here's my challenge to you. When I was watching these videos of yours, something hit me. When you had the flashlight sitting on top of the dome over the North Pole, something occurred to me. The videos we have of the 24-hour sun in the north, in the Arctic, all have the sun just above the horizon. The sun is never high above them. Now, this is actually what the globe model says should happen, as the globe model requires the sun to do the same thing in both the north and south. So if the 24-hour sun is just above the horizon the entire time in the south, then the sun should be just above the horizon the entire time in the north. And that's exactly what we see in the videos of the 24-hour sun in the north. What struck me while watching your videos is that if there is a dome, then the sun would have to be much higher in the north, as we see in your demonstrations. So here is my challenge for you. Can you show a 24-hour sun in the north that is just above the horizon with your dome model? I can't think of how this would be possible. You could get a much smaller dome, but then you're going to lose all the reflections you need to account for a 24-hour sun in the south and southern star trails and anything else you might want. Since flat earthers all agree that there is a 24-hour sun in the north, and flat earthers show the many videos of the 24-hour sun in the north, and flat earthers like Eric Dubé even claim that the 24-hour sun in the north proves flat earth, I'm curious if any flat earther has ever noticed or considered that the sun is just above the horizon the entire time in these videos. So this is my challenge to you and all flat earthers. If there's a dome, how can the 24-hour sun in the north be just above the horizon the entire time? Let me know if you think that's possible with a dome. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. Quick update on Austin Whitsitt. I was going to be on his channel last night, but I had to abruptly leave town for a funeral, sadly. And so look for me to be on Austin's channel next week instead. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Bye-bye.